Your deposit isn't at risk because your closing fell apart. Your deposit's at risk because you didn't understand the contract you signed and the contingencies in that contract. If you're buying a home, this applies directly to you. Once you sign a contract, you have to comply with it. Ignoring this could cost you thousands of dollars simply because you missed a deadline, or even worse, because you didn't understand what you signed. Hi, I'm attorney Kishore Kapoor, a residential real estate closing attorney here in the state of Connecticut. And every day we share real life stories from real closings so you can learn from my clients' experiences and hopefully have a smooth and stress free closing. So let me tell you about a young couple we represented. They're buying a $525,000 house. They assumed that they knew more than everybody, so they didn't consult with the right professionals before doing anything. They signed a contract. In the contract, it was a 30-day closing, and they had to have a mortgage approval in 15 days. That's pretty standard, not out of the ordinary. Makes sense, it's fine. So they went through the process, they had a home inspection. There were a couple of minor items on there. Seller offered a $1,000 credit, buyers accepted it. It worked well. We move on to the title search. Title search came back. There was an open mortgage. That gets resolved easily. Seller has to pay it at closing. Appraisal, house appraised. Day 15, we got our mortgage commitment. Lender said, we conditionally approve you. We just need to verify that your bank has enough cash in it, one last statement, and that you're still employed. Great. Buyers are happy, sellers are happy. Buyer decides, I don't like my job anymore, and quits. Now, without talking to anybody, she's like, oh, no, I'm not worried about it. We found out afterwards she wasn't worried about it because she's like, oh, we have a mortgage contingency. We'll get our deposit back because our mortgage gets denied. No, they didn't get their money back. Unfortunately, we passed the mortgage contingency date, and the buyer took an action that harmed herself. She quit her job. Now, I know everyone's thinking, well, why didn't she consult with anyone? Well, she knew more than everybody else, relied on what she was searching for in the internet, and relied on it. Didn't talk to anybody, didn't consult with anybody, because had she talked to us, we'd say, wait a week. Wait until after we close to quit your job, get closed, or tell us so we could try to get your deposit back. She quit her job and got us a denial letter, and that pissed the seller off because it said a change in employment, and they asked a lot of questions. So don't make changes in your employment during the closing process. And just because you have a mortgage contingency, don't make assumptions that it's going to protect you no matter what. Now let's flip over to another buyer we had. We had a buyer that found another dream home, went through the inspections, didn't raise any issues with the inspections. So the inspection contingency lapses, go through, we get a mortgage approval, title looks good, all the required contingencies pass, and we go past them. About a week before she closes, she's re-looking at the inspection report and tries to raise an inspection issue a week before we're supposed to close, saying, hey, I reviewed the inspection contingency, the inspection report, and there is a leak in the roof that I missed before. I want a $10,000 credit or I'm not closing. Explained to her, I don't agree with that. You're stuck. We're at the closing. But ultimately, I have to present the offer as an attorney. My client's saying to present the offer. I go to the other attorney and I say, listen, my client wants a $10,000 credit. There's a leak in the roof. Sales attorney says, I'll get back to you. A few hours goes by. Sales attorney goes, the inspection contingency lapsed and her client wasn't willing to do anything. Go back to my client. What do you want to do? She's all upset. I'm explaining that the contract has contingency. You let it pass. You didn't raise any issues before. You can't do that now. Well, she wasn't happy with that. Ultimately, she decided to still close because she didn't want to lose her deposit. She really liked the house, but not understanding the contingencies does hurt you, right? We can't get out of a contract if we've already passed all the contingencies, or if your contingencies passed, we can't get out of a contract trying to use that. our last buying client. The last buying client found a property. They loved the property until they didn't. Uh, Went through, got a inspection done. Inspection came back with no issues. Um, Title search. There were a couple minor things, but the seller agreed to fix it, take care of it. Mortgage got approved. The appraisal was good. Everything was good. Now, here's where the problem became. About a week before we closed, the wife, was still looking at houses and had found one that she liked better. She thought it was a better price. It was a little bit smaller, closer to the beach, checked all of her boxes. And she's like, you know what? I'm backing out. I'm like, well, we don't have a ground to back out. Yeah, I changed my mind. I'm not closing. Tell the buyers we're canceling tell the sellers we're canceling the contract and we want our deposit back. I said, I don't think that that's realistic. You most likely aren't getting your deposit. I want to set that expectation. She said, just present it. So I presented it, and lo and behold, the sellers said, no, we're not accepting your termination. You already have a mortgage approval. You already did your inspection. You have no grounds to get out. You changed your mind. We're keeping your deposit. Luckily for my clients, it was only a $2,500 deposit, and that wasn't a big enough number for them to say, we won't walk away from it. But the lesson there was, if you want to keep looking, go ahead, but know that if you walk away, you're going to lose your deposit. There is no contingency on the buyer side that says, hey, I just changed my mind. So a couple things before we talk about lessons. If you're buying or selling a home and you're not sure what your actual contract says, give us a call before you sign it. I'd much rather you ask the questions before we enter a contract rather than trying to fix a problem afterwards. So here's a couple of lessons to take away from this. And one of the lessons is going to be something we didn't talk about in the video, so stay tuned to that. Know your deadlines. There's mortgage contingencies in the contract for a reason. They're there to protect you in these situations. But if your contingency doesn't apply or the situation doesn't apply to your contingency, you're kind of stuck, right? So be sure to have a discussion with your team. Number two, don't make assumptions that financing or inspections automatically get extended. They don't get extended. They are firm dates. You need to comply with them. And don't just assume that you know more than the professionals you're working with, and ask a lot of questions. Don't make assumptions. If you don't understand something, ask. Brings me to the next point is make sure you ask a lot of questions early on. Once you sign a contract, it is very hard for us to undo what you did. So if you have questions or don't understand a term in the contract, a contingency, ask. Your real estate team will explain it to you. And if they don't, you need to replace them. It's that simple. They're there to help you understand the transaction. Because if the deadline passes, we can't fix anything and you're stuck. Right? So make sure you're in communication. Make sure you understand those dates. They're extremely important. Use your attorney. Your attorney's job is to protect you. We're there throughout the transaction, not just at the closing. If you need something extended and your agent didn't do it, or you didn't communicate that with your real estate agent, or you just want to be safe and rather come from me than the attorney, as the attorney than the realtor, that's fine. But use us. We're there on your team. Not enough people reach out to us and ask questions. And the biggest one and the last one is the deposit. Most contracts have 2 deposits and they're time sensitive. So if your deposit says that you need to give the deposit in 14 days and you don't, the buyer could lose the closing because the seller has the right to cancel the contract. So if you found this information useful, or you just like listening to me talk, which both are great, follow us. So you don't end up with one of these stories. You can learn from real life situations, from real closings, so you can have a smooth and stress-free closing. And watch these videos to learn more about ways you can protect yourself through the closing process.